All right, welcome to another episode of SLO Talk Live. James Davis here, coming at you live streaming on YouTube and Facebook from the SLO Talk podcasting studio in lovely San Luis Obispo, California. They said that about Burbank, but San Luis Obispo really is lovely.
Way better.
Way better. And I've got a co-host today. I'd like to introduce our SLO Talk audience to my friend, producer, studio owner, Lenny Step Bun, and we call him Step for short. Lenny, welcome to SLO Talk, man.
Thank you so much. I love it here. This is it.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you
Great
aboard.
to be here.
Yeah, we've got some fun coming up in this next segment. We've got live streaming from Nashville in just a few moments. Josh Zimmerman, founder, leader, just a crazy fun guy from Nashville, Tennessee, talking about the silent comedy show in support of the food bank fundraiser June 2nd. So before we do that, I want to thank our sponsors. Got to thank our sponsors. Dining for Charity, San Luis Obispo. These guys created a program where you can buy half-off dining certificates, go and enjoy some of the best restaurants throughout the county, and pay half. You get $50 worth for $25, and also supporting local nonprofits, charitable organizations like Woods Humane Society. And we so much appreciate your support. And then the other sponsor is none other than SLO Talk Podcasting Studio. SLO Talk Podcasting Studio, we create, help you create, develop, record, market, distribute podcasts right here in San Luis Obispo. Check us out online at slotalk.com. I'd be remiss if we did not acknowledge the individual that does all the streaming, the work to set this up, the one and only great Griffith Brashears. Really. And it's funny because he said that about me, but this cat, I mean, he's, he does bells and whistles like I can't even imagine. That's not flattery, it's the truth.
No, it's the real.
See, and you know that because you've seen it.
I work with this man. He's unflappable. He's the dude.
Yeah, I'm serious, man.
Griffin Brashears.
And we made a lot of jokes about him, but this cat is so good. And you know what? Without further ado, I believe we have on a Zoom call from not Nashville. I think Josh, welcome aboard to SLO Talk. I think you're with us, right?
Hello. It's good to be with you.
North Carolina?
I am in Asheville right now. I'm one letter off and a couple 100 miles away. But Asheville versus Nashville is so confusing.
It's the craziest thing. When we first connected about a half an hour ago to set this up, you just drove into town and were greeted by a power failure. Is that the silent comedy way or what?
It's the touring road life way. You never know what you're going to expect. And I was so happy to get to a hotel in time to have this conversation with you. And all of a sudden, all the lights went out in the building. Internet was off, but we're here now. And I'm happy we can work it out.
Josh, this is kind of a crazy story for our listeners. First time I ever found out about you guys, I got a video from your dad, a DVD from my good friend Josh Zimmerman, who lives in Kauai. We're going to be seeing pretty soon, I think. He sent me a video. You guys did a little coffee house gig. I still have that DVD. We're not going to show that today, but it was rough. But man, there was like energy and passion and this funky bluegrass thing. I don't know how else to say it. I know you've got that personified Americana, but it was funky bluegrass, man. But it was, it had an edge. It had a spirit to it. And now, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years later, there's a lot of water under the bridge attached to your name and the silent comedy.
Absolutely. It's been such a wild journey. And because we just recently have been putting a documentary together, it's interesting to hear you try to describe what you saw in that first DVD, because we still, so many years later, can't really describe what the silent comedy sound and vibe is, because it's a mixture of so many things. But it's been a wild journey, and it just keeps kind of continuing and having twists and turns. And it's kind of exciting to get back into the stream of the silent comedy, because we had been on hiatus for quite a while. And it really feels cool to come back and reconnect with so many folks, you included, and all of our friends in SLO that we haven't seen in far too long. And that's really the coolest part about having such a long history, is we have such good friends that we've made over the course of the journey of the band's life. And it's really a privilege.
We are so excited for our listeners. You know, I know a lot of you folks are on your phone right now or your laptop. Check out Slow Brew the Rock, June 2nd, major
Yeah.
fundraiser for the Slow Food Bank,
Definitely.
which is really one of the top 5 largest community benefit organizations in our backyard. And gosh, Josh, the work that they do, you know, I was just online looking at what they do. Garrett, the director there, I heard him interviewed recently. The needs of folks the last couple of years have just, you know, it just manifested, exploded. And so this fundraiser, you know, our friend Ryan Orr, entertainment director out Slow Brew the Rock, great guy. I know you guys go way back a few years, and Ryan uses that property to do so many good events for our community, and this event is just one of them. And Friday night, June 2nd, tickets available right now, some VIP stuff. But
great venue.
Great. In fact, I'm Josh, I am so excited that you guys not only going to reconnect with Slow Folk and you know and Ryan, but the venue is so fitting for the silent comedy. They brew some of the best beer out there, and then they've got a place called Rod and Hammer Spirits. They have a distillery on site. It gets better, man. It's family friendly, and they can put
great outdoor space,
500 or 600 people, 700 people easily.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it is good.
Yeah, it's we've been hearing from Ryan about the distillery, and we've been promised a bottle of the fine products that come out of it, because you know our reputation precedes us as far as our aficionado status of spirit.
There we go. That comes with the territory in a good way. And I, you know, Ryan Orr, he'll be back. He's going to come on the podcast, the stream soon. But Ryan is such a good cat. We've been able to do veterans events out there the last several years and a number of concerts. And Griffin's been involved in streaming, but just opens up that facility for some really significant shows. And you guys are opening the show, is that right?
Yeah, we're really happy to be supporting the Mother Hips, you know, a band that we have enjoyed their music for so long, and so it's really cool to come and pair up with them, and then also for a good cause. You know, we've been trying to get back to Slow ever since the band has started to play shows again, and our schedules are extremely complicated, and so we've been looking for an opportunity to come back to Slow for so long, and this felt like just the perfect time. You know, we can get together, have a great night of music, support a band that we really enjoy, and also do some good for the community. So it's the perfect mixture of factors for us.
Perfect time of year too. Weather's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah. And we've missed the Central Coast so much, and there's just something special about it. Obviously you guys know, but to people who've never been to Slow, we always tell them that we're looking for any opportunity to come and do a show there, because that area is just so gorgeous.
You guys, Josh, the first show that you guys ever did was at the Morro Bay Harbor Fest. And
nice.
It was back in the wine and beer garden. We moved that step, if you remember, the wine tent way to the back.
I remember.
We showed up at the Harbor Festival and you couldn't even see the harbor, and I thought something's wrong. So we moved that to the back, and folks would have to go through everything to get to the back. And we put Josh Zimmerman, Jer, the band, on a little stage in the back. And I think it's not exaggerating to say, I think 300 people showed up in that little spot. It was energy. The next 2 years, they were on the main stage, and the year after that, the July 4th event, the fireworks. So
I win every year. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You saw?
Always. Yeah, I would go.
Oh, you love that show, huh?
It's a great venue. It's a great setup. I love it.
Yeah, the Morro Bay Harbor Fest. So, Josh, I remember, this is kind of a crazy story, man, but we were talking, and they wanted me to do the music. I just got that job, music director, whatever that was, and I called you up. At that time, you were in San Diego, and I had seen the video, a little DVD, and I was excited, and I was tasked to bring music in, and we had the wine and beer garden stage, and I thought you guys would be great. And you said to me, I'll never forget this, you said, how long is the show? And I said, 90 minutes. And you said, 90 minutes. And I said, yeah, and an encore. And you said, and an encore? And you said to me, gosh, James, we've got about 45 minutes so far, originals. And I remember saying to you, well, you've got 90 days. You guys are good. You guys added 45 minutes, and then you did the most amazing cover of Jackson by Johnny and June Carter. June Carter Cash. Do you remember that?
Uh, it's incredible to remember those early days because I just had to go and make a spreadsheet of all of our songs for some publishing purposes.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I think we have over 90 original songs now. And that's not counting the new record that we're working on right now.
90.
And so it's so
90.
funny to think about back when we only had 45 minutes worth of material. And now we have so many songs that us in the band forget some of them that exist when we go to look at what we're going to play when we go back on tour.
Wow.
And it's just so fun to see how it's progressed.
And then another thing, Josh, one of the things I really like about the silent comedy is if there's a song that you guys vibe with, adopt, make your own. I think of Larry Norman's song, some songs by Neil Young. Most recently, in fact, I'd like to show our audience, we've talked a lot, but I'd like to show the audience, before we do the trailer for the new documentary, maybe we can play their cover that they did, the Fleetwood Mac song, The Chain. That came out 2 years ago?
Absolutely, yeah. And we had recorded it many years ago in 2014. And we don't usually record our covers. It's something we like to do live a lot, but we don't normally put them on records. And when we were coming back from hiatus, something about The Chain and the subject matter of it, even though we didn't write the song, felt so appropriate to the journey we've been on as a band that we made it our first release out of hiatus because it's just one of the greatest rock songs ever. But the words and whatnot really coalesced, and the video that you're going to show, really illustrated where we're at in our lives. So yeah, this is one that's real special to us.
All right, we're going to go ahead. This is The Chain by the Silent Comedy.
Listen to the wind blow, watch the sun rise. Run in the shadows, damn your love, damn your life. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear you say you will never break the chain. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear together.
Disney.
All right, we're back. That was The Chain by the Silent Comedy. Josh, my gosh, that song just evokes such a spirit. It just speaks loudly. And how did you guys come about? I know you said you recorded one version in 2014. Is that the same version you released?
Yeah, that's the same version. It just was kind of sitting on a shelf for years.
Wow.
And so we just released it in 2019 for people to hear. And the feedback we got was so great because it was special to us, the version that we did. And we're so happy that our producer talked us into recording it at the time because we really captured a moment in time in a way that is cool with that version. So it's really neat that it's out there for people to access now.
Oh, you did it justice. Sounds great.
Oh, thank you.
It's a bit of a precursor as we shift gears and talk about your documentary. I Am All Right. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Is that the title? Yeah. And in a
Absolutely.
minute, we're going to cue up the trailer. I watched it. I shared it with Step. Step watched it. Josh, I don't know where I can go to see this right now or pay for it pay-per-view, but I got to see it, man, because we're kind of, especially leading up to stuff, kind of innocent bystanders,
Yeah.
Last show, I'm not sure if it was the show we saw with the Heavy or the one in Santa Cruz, but both those shows, they were both different. One was a side studio at the Catalyst, a little smaller place. And then the other one was a huge, I think the Henry Fonda Theater. But Josh, one thing about you guys, every single show is like, that's the last one. We're doing it. Camosi's up in Atascadero. I never forget the night. Katz and Steven were there, and we saw a show that you'd committed to. I think 3 weeks later you might have opened for, Switchfoot with thousands in Avila, but you did this little one-off show, and you guys, you poured your heart out. And so I think I'm kind of leading up to, maybe the trailer of what happened,
Yeah.
post that. But
Yeah, it's something that a lot of folks in the music industry had said about us over the years, is that any criticisms you could bring about our band, one thing that's clear is we leave it all on the field. Every time we're on stage, we do give it our all. And it's something that I think is why we've been able to connect to people in a special way. It's also something that is born out of a lot of struggle and strife, the energy that we put into the show. And so that's really what the documentary deals with, is, eventually over our years of hard touring and DIY independent music, that intensity and that passion and that drive, nearly killed me. And that's what led to our hiatus. And for many years, we kind of weren't very open and public about everything that happened, why the band kind of very abruptly went off of the public radar. But as we were trying to come back years later, it occurred to me that, I would like to tell the story in a way that is full for people. It's very hard to tell it in kind of initial months ago. Now we're re-editing the whole thing, adding more material. We're shooting different stuff to make the story even more comprehensive. And we have more festival stuff in the works for the fall. And then we're probably going to make it available online sometime in the fall or very early next year, because we want people to see it, because it's a very important story for us to tell, but we're trying to make it as good as it can be, because it's pretty complicated to try to get 15 years of history and a very dramatic and intense collapse that we went through.
So we're streaming live here at SLO Talk Studios. We've got Josh Zimmerman, founder, lead, the silent comedy, formerly out of San Diego, now based in Nashville.
Asheville.
Asheville. No, they're based in Nashville. They're calling from Asheville.
Asheville. That's
so they're
confusing,
in
man.
Asheville, North Carolina. Hey, Josh, we lost you for a minute. We were just telling folks that you're based in Nashville, but right now in Asheville, North Carolina, on tour supporting the re-release of Enemies Multiplied, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, that's where the confusion comes in. I live in Nashville, but then I'm currently in Asheville, and it's just like a
Asheville.
tongue twister.
Hey, man, who's on first? What's on second?
Right.
Exactly.
My gosh.
That's nice.
Folks, I want folks that are watching this stream, if you're in SLO, if you're coming to SLO, get your tickets, support the SLO Food Bank. You guys are in for a treat. Probably next to the Heavy, who kind of eclipsed these guys when I saw them in Henry Fonda Theater. I remember when Rebecca Jolson said, my gosh, guys, the energy of the Heavy is even stronger than the silent. I thought that was all flattery, but my gosh, Josh, those guys kill it, right?
Oh man, they're just some of our favorite people in the world and one of our favorite bands in the world. You know, we did 3 tours with them, 2 tours of North America, a tour of the UK together over a course of a couple of years. And we love those guys so much. They have a new record that is just coming out, and they're touring to support it. So they're in the States right now, I believe. And they're bouncing back and forth between England and the States and mainland Europe. But if anyone out there ever has the chance to see the Heavy live, they've got to do it. They're such an incredible band.
What a show. Best way to sum it up, James Brown meets British rock head on, and there's quite a collision.
Yeah.
Wow. That's heavy.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's the Heavy, yeah. And of course, that was the night that you had the honor of presenting them, I think, a gold record for a song that'd been out for a while.
Yep.
But finally, what song was that, man? Do you remember?
That was their song, How You Like Me Now.
There you go.
The cool thing about it that I think people in the Henry Fonda Theater might have thought was staged, but it wasn't, was the surprise for them. So their manager gave me the gold record plaque to present to them, but didn't tell the band that it was going to happen.
They had no idea.
Yeah, I legitimately interrupted their show to present them with the gold plaque, and it was so special. I was so honored to be able to do that. But any surprise they exhibited was legit.
Well, Swabby and the band, they come unglued. I mean, first they were wondering what the heck were you doing there? Like, you had your show, right? And then they realized what was happening, and it was all in the moment. It was pretty cool to see that, and these guys, the touring, the hard work, I guess it finally paid off. People finally put that record out there,
Yeah, and it's so cool to see that hard work pay off for them, because they're such an amazing band, and they were able to stick at it long enough to get the recognition that they deserve. And yeah, we just love those guys. We have no shortage of good things to say about them.
So speaking of sticking at it long enough, we're going to go ahead and show the trailer for your documentary, I Am All Right, the story of the silent comedy, the rise, the fall, and the rise of the silent comedy. Josh, we're glad you're back. We are so excited about you coming to SLO Town.
Yes.
Bringing your magic on
Absolutely.
Friday night, June 2nd. In fact, Stephen Shubin, my brother, Stephen Shubin, who's lived with us, it's his birthday party. James Gallardo, part of SLO Talk, Trippin' and G.
Badass bassist.
James is he's on that opening music. He's coming back from a year-long cruise at Norwegian. It's kind of a coming back party. So it's going to be quite a party at SLO Brew the Rock on the 2nd of June, man.
Let's go.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait. And we have a day off.
It seems so simple when you're young and you start a band.
We got swept up in this thing that had a mind of its own.
From that point, things really accelerated. It was like magic, and people responded to it.
My gosh, it went from 0 to hero like very, very fast.
It was wild.
I was hooked, and it drove me to literally give everything in my life for it.
We were playing coffee shops one day, and the next day we were meeting our heroes.
Our songs start getting placements on TV.
It just was a whirlwind.
The decade of our lives all comes down to this moment. We have to make a breakout record.
Everything was up in the air there.
There's like a fundamental breakdown of reality happening. I felt like I couldn't trust my own mind. In that moment, it was life and death. It was everything. There was no exit strategy.
Inevitably, the art was going to destroy him. I guess that's today.
That much weight on one thing is dangerous.
We're so focused on like where we're going, we don't realize the ship's on fire.
We were barely hanging on, then we weren't hanging on, then we were in free fall.
And the question on everyone's mind is, what happened?
All right, we're back in the studio here talking to Josh Zimmerman, the founder and lead, one of the founding members and lead of the silent comedy. That was the trailer for their documentary, I Am All Right. Josh, me and Step watched that, and the you know, a good trailer, if it's done right, makes you really want to see the movie. Well, my gosh, Josh, that trailer makes me really want to see your documentary, man.
It's well made.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to get the re-edit done, and I'll send it to you as soon as that process is done, because it's, you know, it's such a personal story for us, and it was really hard for me. It took me years to come to terms with actually really telling it publicly. But the main reason we did is that we wanted people to see, you know, you guys know, and anyone who's been to our shows sees us as this kind of like fun time party guys, and that is part of who we are. But many people that haven't seen the reality of what was happening behind the scenes for many of our touring years. And so it's an important thing to talk about. And, you know, the reason we made it now is that the conversation around mental health has really progressed a lot in the years since we stopped touring. And we felt like it's important for bands, especially on the independent side of music, to open up about some of the real difficulties that exist in trying to live a very hard lifestyle to pursue something that you're passionate about. So it's going to be cool to get it out more in a public way.
We're looking forward to that. A common thread of today, the other episode that we had, was about veterans and art, and how powerful to the veteran artist and to the community that artwork is, the healing power.
Absolutely.
We do Band-Aids and we do transportation, but sometimes the spirit and soul are overlooked. And so that's the theme here today. Right. And Josh, we appreciate you guys. We're really looking forward to being able to see that and then to screen that here in SLO to make that happen. And also, we just appreciate the friendship, that art is not separated from your heart, and it can't be. It's part of who you are. And we're, I'm speaking for all of us here in this room. We're grateful that you guys are back out there. And COVID was really, really tough. And I'm grateful that we're on the other side of that. And you guys, my dad used to say all the time, keep on trucking. And that you guys are out there, trucking, literally and figuratively, doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And your documentary is going to be important as a post-COVID conversation, talking about mental health and, dealing with life post-COVID, entrepreneurs, kids, everyone. It's just, it's going to be important to talk about that.
So thank you. That's what we hope for. And, it doesn't matter who you are or what your role is in life. It's been such a rough couple of years for everyone. And it was, to premiere it in our hometown. And we wanted it to be a conversation starter. We knew that it would open that up for people, but I was overwhelmed by the response. And we spent hours afterwards talking to people about their own experiences. And that's really what it's about and what we wanted to make it for. And so we're excited to get it out to more people and to have more of those conversations, because, we all need help to get through life and be kind of our best version of ourselves.
That's right. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a little iconic, here's a band name, the Silent Comedy, and here's everything going on behind the scenes. But, Josh, we all have our public face, but we also, want to talk. And I think COVID, maybe the benefit along with the negatives, kind of pushed us to a place where we had to talk. I'll never forget, in our relationships, because those are what exist before and after we get on the stage. The stage is what, an hour? 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours if it's a great night. But the life of getting there, of living, of earning money, being a tent maker, doing other gigs, all those areas, resonate with you guys and bands. But in our lives, it's like that. You know, we're podcasting, it's cool, social media, but
Yeah.
we have significant others, we have bills to pay, and I'm really glad that you guys have put some stuff on the table, and looking forward to hanging out when you guys
Can't wait to
town.
meet you, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's something that will, that's part of why it's also timely. We're reissuing on vinyl our last record,
Vinyl.
Enemies Multiply. And we had done a limited run of vinyl when it first came out, and that has been out of print for a bit. So we're celebrating that. And then what the film deals with was the period of time when we were writing and making that record.
Yeah.
And so we're also really looking forward to people going back and re-listening to this record with an entirely different perspective on why it sounds the way it does, why the lyrics are the way they are. It was a recurring joke for many of our years when we were at our peak in the music industry, was that executives used to have the hardest time with going like, why are you guys so dark? Like, why are your lyrics so dark? And the show is so fun. And, the film basically explains that. And so we're really also looking forward to people being able to listen to the music in a little bit different way with a different context.
Yeah. Josh, we want to acknowledge one of the local businesses that's come in as a sponsor for the food bank fundraiser, Megan's Organic Market, San Luis Obispo. Really want to give them a shout out. They're involved in so many of the events in our city for community benefit. They were a major sponsor step for the Veterans Benefit concert we did at the Siren, and we did it at SLO Rock. They've been there, and so we want to thank Megan's Organic Market of San Luis Obispo for their support for our community. And
so many other things.
So many other things, and we're grateful. I mean, you talk about a safety net, a community network. The food bank is really at the core. Along with United Way, along with UCP, Right on Transportation for vets and seniors and challenged folks. This is part of what makes San Luis Obispo livable and a blessing. So, Josh, as we get ready to sign off, man, this has been, there's a lot more we can play, a lot more we can do, but I want people to come to the show, man. This is
June 2nd.
Bottom line, this right here is icing on the cake.
That's it.
But the cake is when you bring the big rock show, man. I want people to come have a slice of the cake.
We truly can't wait to get back, and it'll be so great to give you a big hug and not have to see each other over Zoom. And we're looking forward to that with so many of our friends, just to be back in a room with people, bringing the rock and all having an experience together. It really is a joyous thing for us.
Just a few weeks away, June 2nd.
It's coming
Slow
up.
Brew the Rock fundraiser for the food bank. Guys, if you've already seen the silent comedy, you know. If you don't know, you don't know, but you can find out. This is a fun show. You will know, man. Fun show. I want to thank Step for being the co-host today, Josh Zimmerman, the silent comedy, for what you guys are bringing, and of course Griffin Bashirs. Griffin Bashirs, man, the guy bringing the stream, the
Maestro.
magic, and he shakes his head, but the guy just brings the magic.
But when he shakes his head, all this long blonde hair flies all over the room.
I'm telling you, man, put the fan on, right?
Yeah, he's Samson.
And we want to thank Dining for Charities, another significant business in our community that helps nonprofits, including Wood Humane Society. Also want to thank SLO Talk Podcasting Studio, our team that does the recording, development, editing, distribution, and marketing. Thank you so much. So many unsung heroes. Also want to show you guys, check this out. We are a groupie here. Where are those records at? Before we get off the air, where are the records at? Man? Oh. Check this out, Josh. You're going to love this. You still with us, Josh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow, that one is a really limited edition. That's the OG stuff.
I even got one in a little paper envelope, and then look at this. Look at this. Here we go, guys.
Oh yeah, Friends Divide, one of my personal favorites. A little bit of an overlooked EP of ours, but
these songs are available on iTunes wherever you buy your digital music. Is that right?
And Spotify. Anyone who is a little curious about us, just go over to Spotify and take a little listen. Yeah, the Common Faults vinyl, one of the best.
Nice. This is so good, so good. I love the fact that you guys, not only pay homage to vinyl, you print in vinyl. Anybody can talk about it.
Turntables and a microphone, baby.
Yeah,
exactly. There's something that will never match the experience of holding a record in your hand and putting it on the turntable.
Nothing like it.
Magical.
I'm a vinyl man. I'm a vinyl dude. Real talk.
Hey, Josh in Asheville, North Carolina. Cheers. Thank you for being a part of SLO Talk today, man.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's great to catch up, and I can't wait to get back in person. June 2nd is going to be really
June
fun.
2nd.
We're looking forward to it, you guys. All right, you guys, we're signing off with SLO Talk Live. Thank you for being a part of this stream. We'll be back soon.